Tonight on CTV News at 6. Highway closed.
We left Friday morning from Levac up to Cochrane for a snowmobile race.
A greater Sudbury family is stuck at the watershed south of Timmins. With some roads still not plowed,
my car got stuck and just wouldn't go.
people in Sudbury are digging out from the weekend storm. And more medical residents are coming to Sault Ste. Marie.
Anytime you can have a physician trained locally, that's great for the community.
The city is named as a new pediatric training site.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. So glad you're with us on this Tuesday, March 17th. With several highway closures in the Northeast, some travelers have been stranded. A family from Levac has been sitting at the Watershed gas bar and restaurant since Sunday night. CTV's Lindsay Alick has more.
Monique and Amanda Lacroix have been stranded at the Watershed since Sunday evening, where Highway 144 meets 560.
We left Friday morning from Levac up to Cochrane for a snowmobile race. And then when we were done racing Sunday, we tried to rush to get back home, but we didn't make it.
The sister-in-laws are part of a group of 5 that are currently sleeping in their vehicles, but say are thankful for food and restrooms available here 24/7.
They've been taking really good care of us. There's everything here that you need other than a shower and a bed for us.
They aren't the only travelers stranded at the Watershed, though.
I spoke to a couple of them this morning. One's from Lively and the other one's from Naughton. So they're a ways away too.
Some people that I did speak to were from Ottawa.
It's all about public safety, of course.
Constable Kyler Brower says an MTO snowplow followed by an OPP cruiser reopened Highway 11 northbound this morning.
During this time, it is still under a controlled reopening, so we're asking people not to pass, especially not to leave vehicles, but even within Highway itself, be patient. We'll get it open and we'll get it open safely.
Similar controlled openings will take place across the Northeast as conditions allow. Constable Brower says that Ontario 511 remains the most up-to-date resource for motorists. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
Other highways had sections that were stopped or closed intermittently along their corridors today. Police recommend checking 511 before leaving home for the latest road closures and conditions. One of our viewers, Don Boucher, sent us this video tonight showing the traffic as Highway 11 opened near Timiskaming Shores. Traffic mostly made up of commercial vehicles, which have been stopped since Sunday evening when highways across the region began shutting down. Meanwhile, OPP tagged 31 drivers yesterday between Sault Ste. Marie and Blind River for driving on the highway while it was closed. Officers charged 19 drivers along Highway 17 between Blind River and Thessalon. Officers from the Sault Ste. Marie detachment lay charges against 12 more drivers between Mississauga First Nation and Iron Bridge. 5 commercial motor vehicle operators were among the drivers charged yesterday. Police are reminding the public when a highway is closed, it is dangerous for the driver, but also for emergency and road crews. Now let's talk about the weather. And some people are still digging out from the weekend storm, while others made it back to the office, including CTV's Rick Wyman. And Rick, a pretty nice day out there considering what we've experienced recently. But I understand more snow's on the way.
A little bit, Tony. Not as much as what we had on the weekend. And you know what, Tony, again, I just want to give a big shout out to the neighbors who helped their neighbors and strangers and anyone else right across Northeastern Ontario. In times of need, your neighbors come through and we do the best that we can and get the help that we need from neighbors, very unsuspecting at times, but it's a lot of fun to get to know people and know that people are out there doing their thing just for you, and you can do things for others. Systems map right now. Tony, you talk about some snow coming in. Yeah, we do have some snow, we do have some flurry activity, but we also have some cold temperatures tonight. Clear skies, and for the most part, you know, not a bad evening considering what we've gone through. We'll take a look at the current conditions coming up in just a couple of minutes, but stick around for the 7-day forecast. That's going to be key. You might like what you see, Tony, in terms of what we can expect in terms of snowfall and even some sunshine in the forecast. Back to you.
Can't wait for that. Thanks so much for that, Rick. People in Sudbury are recovering from the significant weather event. Details now from CTV's Madison Merrier.
Sudbury residents are digging out their cars or in some cases calling a tow.
I was driving everybody home just before the storm was fully engulfed, and I got to turn on to Montague and my car got stuck and just wouldn't go. So I had to leave it till today till we get a tow truck to come and take it.
The city says that restoring residential and rural roads may take up to 3 days, but they're using all the equipment at their disposal.
Sometimes if there is a vehicle on the road and we can squeeze by, we will. But right now, the focus is to get that one pass in so that people can get back on the roads and out of their driveways. And there is the expectation that we will have to go back right and widen up those lanes.
The severe weather event left the city covered in a mixture of deep snow and freezing rain, which makes clearing roads more difficult.
We don't normally plow a road with a backhoe or a loader, so we are utilizing different pieces of equipment to get us through as well, because some of the snowpack is hard for a conventional plow to make it through. So we've had to plow with graders and loaders and backhoes as opposed to just the regular plow.
The city is asking those who can to remove the snow at the ends of their driveway, but they add they're trying to get out and help where possible. However, there is no timeline on the snow removal. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
The full impact of this weekend's storm are yet to be uncovered, but 2 sports facilities have sustained damage as a result of heavy snowfall. The tennis dome at Queen's Athletic in Sudbury, known as the Igloo, has sustained damage. In a social media post yesterday, the Sudbury Indoor Tennis Center announced it was closed until further notice and that regular updates would follow. The facility is operated by the SITC, but is owned by the city. The Lancer Dome also sustained damage. No word yet on the status of either facility. Fire crews across the region are reminding everyone to clear around vents and gas meters as they dig out from the storm. Vents can get blocked by heavy snowfall like the one we've experienced, causing carbon monoxide to build up in the home. They are also reminding everyone that carbon monoxide detectors are required in all homes with fuel-burning appliances. Concerns over the snow load on the roofs of the recreation complex and library in Espanola have closed the facilities until further notice. The town confirms after an internal assessment this morning the buildings were closed out of caution. The recreation complex is a hub for activities including hockey, figure skating, a gym and pool, among other activities. In a statement, the town of Espanola says, "We understand it is March break and are disappointed we won't be able to welcome patrons to our facility over the next few days. An external contractor will be working on snow removal from the roof, likely starting tomorrow, and we look forward to reopening as soon as possible. A further update will be provided tomorrow on timelines." It happened a few months ago. Still to come on CTV News at 6, police officers in the Soo and Waterloo make a huge drug bust. But first, we're heading to the Temple Bar in Dublin, Ireland. This is St. Patrick's Day and the festivities are in full swing. This webcam is courtesy of the City of Dublin. More news in just a few minutes.
Country 91.7. Sudbury's home for the best country music. Listen for your chance to win $50,000 with Pure Country's big $50K payday.
A joint drug operation between Sault Ste. Marie and Waterloo Police Services has netted over $1 million in cash and drugs. Project Deception Lake targeted drug trafficking and exporting in January. 2 individuals from Southern Ontario were arrested after a traffic stop on Highway 17, the other at a residence in the 700 block of Wellington Street. Between the 2 instances, nearly 3,800 grams of suspected fentanyl and more than 1,500 grams of cocaine were seized, along with other drugs and weapons. Police say the street value of the drugs is more than $700,000. They also seized nearly $700,000 in cash. Greater Sudbury Police providing an update after a standoff over the weekend in the community of Valcarin. A man and a woman now face charges of robbery with a firearm disguised with intent and several other weapons-related offenses. On Saturday, 2 suspects reportedly tried to rob a gas station and fled to a home between Isabel and Division Streets. Police executed a search warrant and seized 2 firearms and ammunition. One of the guns is believed to have been used in the robbery. Provincial Police and Ministry of Natural Resources officers conducted snowmobile safety enforcement in the North Bay region over the weekend. Police interacted with 468 snow machines out on the trails, serving 67 offense notices or warnings. 1 roadside alcohol test was administered, resulting in a 7-day suspension. Medical school graduates have now been matched with residency training programs across the country, including a first-time situation in Sault Ste. Marie. CTV's Corey Nordstrom has more.
11 new medical residents are set to arrive in the Soo, and for the first time, first-year pediatric residents will have the border city as their primary training site.
It definitely puts us on the map for pediatric residency training. I think being able to attract not 1, but 2 graduates of medical school to join us for a residency program. I think that really speaks to the strength of our local program and the strength of our local teachers within the Northern Ontario School of Medicine.
Those 11 graduates will be spread across the Soo Area Hospital, Group Health Centre, and Algoma Public Health. At the health unit, they will be onboarding a public health and preventative medicine resident, in recent years becoming a core site for the training program where the resident spends the majority of their time.
Anytime you can have a physician trained locally, that's great for the community. They learn about the community, they meet the people, they learn about the different partnerships in order to best do their job most effectively.
It's really nice to be able to work in a place where you've had the chance to learn the system a little bit, and it has been nice to some of the additional clinical work I've done. It's been nice to hit the ground running with that knowledge.
Residency programs range from 2 to 5 years in length, and those coming to the Soo are all from the Northern Ontario School of Medicine. Also of the 11 are 2 integrated family medicine, emergency medicine residents, 1 psychiatry resident, and 5 family medicine residents.
This is a part of our overall growth in medical education in the Soo, and so we're also looking in the coming years to be adding more of our medical students, like our senior medical students first, and then earlier year ones over time.
Though it takes years after they arrive, residents can greatly expand the capacity of the doctors that they work under as they take on more responsibility. This cohort will begin their work in the Soo on July 1st. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
The couple behind a youth restorative program in Sudbury is working to keep it going. We get the details now from CTV's Angela Gemmell.
So we changed the height of the risers.
Rick Ozzy Osborne explains how he uses this bike to connect with troubled youth, rebuilding the vehicle while also working to rebuild their lives.
I see myself in the kids I work with, and I see my professor and my dad, the men in my life, in me as I'm doing this.
Ozzy uses his own life as an example of restoration, having been incarcerated, addicted to drugs, and part of biker gangs, but he turned it all around.
If I can give you the names of the people who all of a sudden cared about me, when it made no sense, right? I was acting out and they said, well, I see something in this guy, I'm going to run with him. And so I'm now that. We're now that.
He and his wife Heather run a program called Ozzy's Garage Sudbury, working with troubled youth between the ages of 13 and 19. He uses his past experiences and his knowledge of motorcycles to gain trust and provide mentorship, while Heather provides emotional support and social skills. Skills that all too often these teens have never learned.
In some ways, it feels like we're just getting started because it took a long time to build relationships with all of the other agencies that work with youth, because this is not a silo, right? We can't work with these with youth in silos.
Sudbury District Restorative Justice, which refers youth to the program, is now helping the Osbornes find funding. The couple says previous federal funding for the program will run out at the end of June, leaving the future uncertain.
Yes, you spend money working on a program like this, but guess how much it costs to keep somebody in the penitentiary, or in the jail system, 6 figures a year. Whereas this is a small way to catch guys. I could sit here, for a while and give all these success stories of boys that have come into this and now have a different trajectory.
Their next step in developing the program is to create a peer mentorship aspect where volunteers who've come through the program would help mentor other youth just coming in. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
The province is looking at expanding access to HOV lanes as part of an attempt to ease congestion on Ontario's highways. It's just one of a number of new measures the Ford government has proposed in recent days. CTV Siobhan Morris reports.
It's a new proposal to help drivers riding alone get to their destinations sooner.
There's a traffic jam or whatever, 7, 8 o'clock at night, people should be able to use the HOV lanes.
Ontario is also going to let you bring booze from home to enjoy at some street festivals. A 48-hour flurry of announcements and initiatives, opening up bail hearings, pushing the feds to legalize carrying pepper spray.
This is to defend yourself when some crazy nut comes after you.
To CTV political analyst Scott Reed, this all makes sense.
This is right in his wheelhouse politically, and in some ways I think the Premier is trying to reinforce those kind of populist issues that he's on, but at the same time push away some of the bad news.
Like the firestorm set off last week over tightening freedom of information rules. It would keep calls, texts, and other records from the Premier, ministers, and their staff out of public reach. The changes, retroactive.
I think everything he said in the last few days is all about distracting from the fact that he doesn't want people to have access to his cell phone records because he's trying to hide something.
Doug Ford makes no secret of using his personal phone for work. In January, a court ordered him to turn his records over. Today, Ford made clear his phone is the reason for the change.
When it comes to a conversation within cabinet and on personal cell phones, that's not should be FOIable.
The interim Liberal leader says the Premier's trying to duck accountability for public business on his private phone.
He's got the Greenbelt investigation that's ongoing. He's got the Skills Development Fund investigation ongoing. He's got Therma and God knows what else.
The clampdown on access to information comes with updated cybersecurity plans. The Premier says Ontario needs to keep an eye on adversaries.
Be it China, North Korea, Russia, and if anyone thinks that they aren't on to us and everywhere else in the world, well, you're sadly mistaken.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Meanwhile, the weather has also been impacting power for thousands of Northerners, many still today. Roughly 1,300 customers are still without power in several communities south of Sudbury and on Manitoulin Island. Hydro One's website indicates power should be restored to most customers from Sudbury to French River by 8 tonight. Residents on the island are being told power is estimated to return around 11 tonight. Canada Post issuing a red delivery service alert for several communities in the north today. Mail delivery has been suspended in Kirkland Lake, Timmins, Kapuskasing, Sault Ste. Marie, North Bay, and Sudbury for the day. This is due to the recent weather events. Mail delivery will resume when conditions improve and it's safe to do so. All right, back now for a check on your current conditions. Once again, here's Rick.
Cold night coming up, Tony, right across the Northeast. We'll check out our current conditions momentarily. Our forecast radar, some snow moving in. Light flurries in the forecast for tomorrow. We'll get to that a little bit later on with our 7-day forecast and a lot more. But I know you're holding your breath, Tony, on the current conditions. Let's check out Mooseday and begin with -20 sunshine. Cochrane, mainly cloudy, -17. Timmins, some sun, some cloud, -15. Kapuskasing, -16, mainly cloudy as well. Sunny skies in Chapleau at -13. Wawa trying to be mainly sunny, -12 degrees. In the Sioux, also some sunshine at -11. How about Parry Sound this hour? Predominantly cloudy at -10. In North Bay, -12, some light flurries. Temiskaming Shores, some sun and cloud, -13, and mainly cloudy in Kirkland Lake. In the KL at -14 as well. Greater Sudbury, -10, -11, some sun and cloud, pretty well the same. Espanola and Elliott Lake, and of course Gore Bay. Sunshine, of course, but in some areas, no hydro, -10. Our 7-day forecast and more coming up, including pick of the day just minutes away. Tony.
Thanks so much for that, Rick. The U.S. Embassy in Baghdad is attacked. Next on CTV News at 6, a series of drone attacks overnight by Iran against the U.S. And our future is going to include artificial intelligence. Now some artists are demanding compensation. The U.S. Embassy in Baghdad was hit by rocket and drone attacks again today after a series of strikes hit the same area earlier in the day. Iran continued to attack neighboring countries housing U.S. installations. CTV's Heather Wright reports.
Iran kept up its drone strikes overnight with a wave of attacks targeting the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. One of the most intense since this war began, with security officials saying at least 5 drones were used. Countries in the Gulf were also targeted. Authorities in the United Arab Emirates say 10 ballistic missiles and 45 drones launched from Iran were intercepted. While in Israel, an Iranian missile caused damage in the central part of the country. Despite more than 2 weeks of bombardment, Iran continues to target so-called enemy countries, though the tempo of those strikes has slowed. In what could be a major blow to the regime, Israel says it killed one of Iran's top leaders, Ari Larijani. Last seen in public on Friday, Larijani had strong ties to both Moscow and Beijing and was seen as more of a pragmatist than a hardliner. The United States released this video today, which Central Command says shows strikes against targets inside Iran. It comes on the same day as the United Nations announced it is investigating the fatal strike on a primary school in Iran on the first day of this war, which killed 168 people, mostly girls. A preliminary investigation found the U.S. was likely responsible, though nothing has been proven.
Given the innocent lives that have been lost, there is a critical need for such an investigation to be done and for an independent outcome to follow.
The UN is also questioning Israel's conduct in Lebanon, saying some of its strikes there may constitute war crimes. The death toll from renewed fighting between Israel and Hezbollah, the Iran-backed militant group, is nearly 900, according to the health ministry. Nearly 1 million people have been displaced. We feel that someone should look at us, this man says. There has been a lot of destruction. Heather Wright, CTV News, Istanbul.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is in London today for meetings with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. The two leaders are expected to agree on a deeper defense and industrial partnership as the war in Ukraine drags on. Both leaders agreed that the war in Iran has made things even more complicated for Ukraine, especially given President Trump's decision to temporarily ease sanctions on Russian oil.
Really important that we're clear and consistent that Putin can't be the one who benefits from the conflict in Iran, whether that's oil prices or the dropping of sanctions.
NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte will also join the meeting to discuss peacemaking efforts in Ukraine and maintaining sanctions on Russia. Well, today is St. Patrick's Day, and Princess Kate marked the occasion with a visit to the Irish Guards. Kate handed out traditional sprigs of shamrock to members of the regiment, including an Irish wolfhound. Kate has held the ceremonial role of Colonel of the Irish Guards since 2022. And there's more news still ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick.
Tony, that's on the bucket list one of these days. I'll get to Ireland and have a cold one in one of the infamous pubs, perhaps even on St. Paddy's Day down the road. Forecast radar for the next couple of days. Have a look. We've got some precipitation moving in, but not too shabby. Some light flurry activity, some snow in a couple of days, and a lot more. But compared to what we just experienced, I think you can handle this right now. Also, some sunny breaks in the forecast. We'll get to that momentarily. Wind chill is the story overnight throughout the Northeast. Greater Sudbury, Sault Ste. Marie, Timmins, Temiskaming Shores, and North Bay. And that's not the end of the story. Moose City, Caphurst, in Wawa. Now, it's going to be cold overnight, but tomorrow they're expecting at least 10 to 15 centimeters of snow during the day. Gore Bay, more wind chill activity, and Parry Sound with the wind chill as well. So Wawa, some snow coming tomorrow. Sudbury, Nickel Belt, here we go with snow during the day at 2 centimeters, 2 to 4 at night, -6 your daytime high. Thursday, chance of flurries, some snow on Friday. Saturday, chance of snow and some sunshine. And take a look at the temperatures. You've got a string of 1 degree weather, -1 as well, some sun and clouds. So Sunday, Monday looking very nice at 1 and -1. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, flurries 5 centimeters during the day, 2 centimeters at night, -2. Thursday, some sun and cloud, 2 degrees. 2 degrees again on Friday with the snow. Chance of snow Saturday at 1. Chance of flurries at 30% Sunday at 1 and -1 Monday. Sun and cloud. A lot of people will like that. Perhaps, really, if you're hitting the slopes this weekend, that'll be really nice. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, periods of snow late tomorrow, -6. -2 on Thursday with the flurries. Some snow on Friday, chance of flurries on Saturday, and some sun and cloud Sunday, -2. Some cloud cover Monday, starting things off on the week, -4. Temiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, periods of snow late tomorrow, -6 your high. 1 degree on Thursday, -6 on Friday with the snow. Chance of snow Saturday, -3. And again, -3, some sun and cloud Sunday. Monday, sun and cloud with a high of -2. And to round things out, North Bay, West Nipissing, periods of snow late tomorrow, -5. Chance of flurries at 2 degrees Thursday. Friday, -2 with the snow. Chance of snow Saturday, 1 degree again on Sunday. Sun and cloud, -1 Monday. Sun and cloud once again. You can't complain with some of the temperatures that you're about to experience this week. Without further ado, let's take a look at the before and after of winter weather, our picks of the day. From Ziad Boulet, before and after at Hanmer. This is the shot before all the snow hit the next day on Monday. Ziad, a nice time lapse. That's just the way it went down over the course of the last couple of days. That's before. And again, can we see the after? Ah, yes, here it is. Too much snow. Hey, stick around. A Sudbury woman is trying to unravel a medical mystery. Amanda Hicks has that story coming up after the break.
If you have friends or family traveling outside of Canada, they should have travel medical insurance in case they become sick or injured. The same is true of anyone from another country visiting here. They also need insurance in case they're hospitalized. CTV's Pat Foran has details.
Naveed Zafar's mother, Begum Bashiram, is in her 80s and lives in Atlanta, Georgia. In October, she was visiting with Zafar in Whitby and his sister in Waterloo. While in Waterloo, she had a stroke and ended up in the hospital.
I don't know if she's going to make it because she was unconscious.
Zafar rushed to the Waterloo Regional Health Network to see his mother and fill out documents for her care.
I didn't even bother looking at it because all I was thinking, if I can see my mom again or if she's going to make it.
Bashiran was in the hospital for 4 weeks in and out of intensive care. She has since recovered and is now back in Atlanta. While visiting Canada, she did not have travel health insurance, and the family has been handed a huge bill.
For $110,000.
The total bill came to just over $111,000. The hospital did offer a discount of 10% on certain charges. Zafar owed about $100,000, and so far he has paid $55,000, but he's still expected to come up with the rest.
Being as a responsible citizen, I definitely want to pay to hospital.
When we reached out to the Waterloo Regional Health Network, a spokesperson said, "We sincerely empathize with the financial strain unexpected medical emergencies can cause, especially when navigating the complexities of international health care."
All people visiting Canada that are not Canadian residents need to purchase Visitor to Canada insurance.
Martin Firestone with Travel Secure says many different companies offer Visitor to Canada insurance, and he says the same way Canadians need insurance traveling outside our borders, visitors must have it to make sure they're covered if they get sick or injured while here.
Sadly, it appears they didn't buy it, and now they're facing this huge bill.
Safar says he is thankful the hospital looked after his mother and says he'll have to find a way to pay the rest of the bill.
I mean, I have to pay. I mean, there's no way out.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Well, the future seems destined to include AI technology, but many artists are demanding caution as they see their works being used without fair compensation. CTV's Tyler Barrow has more from the AI Summit in Calgary.
Where arts meets artificial intelligence. This acrobat is having her movements followed by an infrared camera, creating a silhouette.
I think it's better to learn how to use these tools and experiment with it.
But as his theatrical company found use for AI, others in Banff for the National Artificial Intelligence Summit found reason for concern. Representatives from the music industry want proper compensation when their work is used on AI platforms, similar deals musicians and producers have with YouTube and Spotify.
We embrace innovation. It's really important, but we also need to make sure that songwriters are paid.
Many remain apprehensive when it comes to AI. The Indigenous Curatorial Collective organization recently took down work from a cloud system so AI sites couldn't capitalize on it.
We need to have our own data sovereignty and be able to put it in a secure space.
Copyright issues along with compensation are a few of the topics stakeholders are looking to address. The summit hosted by the Ministers of Canadian Identity and Culture and AI and Digital Innovation.
There's anxiety and opportunity.
Approximately 300 individuals from the tech sector, academia, arts, and other areas of culture are here to help ensure Canada shapes global conversation around responsible AI.
Listening to the culture community as we come up and design our legislation on privacy and trust, and as we design our AI strategy to build the economy of the future.
The summit comes a day after Canadian Will Arnett gave an impassioned speech regarding humans' roles in animation at the 98th Academy Awards.
We're celebrating people, not AI, because animation, it's more than a prompt, it's an art form and it needs to be protected.
Currently, Canada's AI sector employs 150,000 people, while another 800,000 work in digital industries. Those are the fastest growing areas in the country. Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Banff.
The mysteries of the human brain are slowly being unraveled. CTV's Pauline Chan reports.
Dr. James Perry is perhaps best known in Canada as Gord Downey's doctor when the tragically hip singer was diagnosed with incurable glioblastoma.
We have a lot of exciting research and a lot of new developments, but patients being treated today are not too different than before. Gord had a glioblastoma, which is grade 4, incredibly aggressive, always lethal disease that people live only a year or two with, as you saw with him. Whereas there are lower grade gliomas in the brain, and we've just had a breakthrough therapy for those patients.
The new drug is known as vorasidenib, brand name Voranigo. Family physician Dr. Aisha Hussein is one of the patients who has benefited from the oral medication.
The lead up to the diagnosis was a few years. So I was experiencing worsening fatigue, worsening stamina and endurance.
She had surgery in 2022, then during a difficult recovery, heard about a new targeted treatment being tested.
It's a massive game changer. So what it does is it not only controls the disease, it shrinks the disease.
And the results from testing for Voranigo were so dramatic, it recently became covered in Ontario under the new Funding Accelerated for Specific Treatments, or FAST program.
Lowering the financial barrier for my patients who do have, let's say, glioma, to have that increased faster access and be reimbursed.
Hopefully we'll set a new standard, and hopefully will be mimicked by other provinces. Time is everything for these patients with these incurable cancers.
But for the type of brain cancer Gord Downey had, the search is still ongoing for an effective treatment. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
A Northern Ontario woman says her condition remains a medical mystery. She has seen more than 30 specialists in Ontario and says her last hope is a clinic in the U.S. A warning, some viewers may find the video in this story disturbing. CTV's Amanda Hicks has more.
It is a full-time job when you become sick in Ontario.
For more than 2 decades, Karina Gorham has been dedicated to helping others through her foot care clinic in Greater Sudbury. But now her own health is in a state of crisis. For 3 years, a progressive condition has been destroying the tissues in her face.
From the very first day I went for help, it was like, there's nothing we can do, and has been like that, so steady, with multiple hospitals and multiple doctors where they would just be like, either don't know what it is or don't know where to send you.
With her conditioning worsening, she was forced to close her business 4 months ago. Gorham has seen over 30 specialists across the province and has been admitted to 6 hospitals.
Patients with a rare disease get 5 to 7 misdiagnoses. They get a wrong diagnosis. It's because the clinician looks at it and says, okay, I think it's this because this is based on my experience, right? So they get a diagnosis, they may get treatment, and of course, it's not the right one.
Gorham says her last hope is the Cleveland Clinic in Ohio. While it could not comment on specific cases, in a statement to CTV News, the Ministry of Health says in part, should a physician identify that their patient may require services outside of the country, they can apply to the out-of-country prior approval program for consideration of funding. All applications are reviewed on a case-by-case basis. Gorham says her doctor submitted a 400-page document to the Ministry of Health for the funding, but it was denied.
This is not how care should be available to the people of Ontario. It has to change. Rare disease strategies exist in other parts that we could copy and paste, more or less, bring to Ontario.
While another application is pending, Gorham has spent $30,000 out of pocket, money raised largely thanks to support from her own community. While she waits for answers, she hopes sharing her story will encourage others to advocate for their own health.
I still feel like I'm not done yet, but you know, I do have hope coming back from Cleveland, though. I do.
Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
In a rare weekday matinee game, still ahead on CTV News at 6. In the OHL today, the Sudbury Wolves are in Brampton taking on the Steelheads. Highlights in a few minutes.
Clothing provided by Laura, Melanie Lynn.
Everyone loves a great Canadian hockey story, and we certainly have one for you tonight. 3 teams from Newfoundland set to play in Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia, suddenly found themselves without equipment. And that's when the community stepped in. CTV's Paul Hollingsworth tells us more.
This arena is known for producing hockey superstars. But it's also home to a massive tournament, 160 hockey teams playing hundreds of games over March break. 3 of those teams from Newfoundland and Labrador landed at the airport over the weekend ready to play. But there was a huge problem.
Went to baggage shed to collect their gear, and unfortunately their gear bags weren't here. Gear bags were left in Newfoundland.
It was a devastating setback. The U11 team from St. John's was prepared to return home right away.
We thought that this trip was going to be one where the kids would be sad and upset, we wouldn't be able to play.
Tournament organizers and community members rallied to find a solution.
What do you do when you're a hockey community? You step up and make sure the kids can get on the ice.
They put a call out for gear donations, and the response was overwhelming. Within hours, this room was packed with everything the players needed.
We probably had gear to outfit 20 to 25 kids. Teams started coming in from Newfoundland around 7:30. And they were able to grab everything they needed in order to outfit their kids.
The 3 teams were able to play on the ice, but off ice, they were overwhelmed by the support.
A lot of people reached out to offer support, local businesses, individuals that we don't know, and just wanted to help in any way to create a special moment for these kids.
Tournament chair Jeff McPhee says Cole Harbour is a place where neighbors watch out for each other, and people will do anything to support children playing the game they love.
The hockey community coming together and taking care of everybody, just like we always do.
The U11 team from St. John's captured the championship in their division. The head coach calls it a gold medal finish and a heartwarming hockey experience. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia.
To the Ontario Hockey League now, where the Sudbury Wolves had a March break matinee in Brampton today.
It's Gonchar and David Green who are slow to get up, and Green hobbling his way to the bench as Hovan scores.
The Wolves would get on the board late in the second period, but the Brampton Steelheads already had 5 goals in the game. The Wolves would stop the bleeding, but the Steelheads swim away with a 6-3 victory.
Entertainment brought to you by the Cinefest Red Carpet Patron Program.
A certain pinball wizard is returning to the big screen. David Daniel has that and more in tonight's Hollywood Report.
Tommy is back for its 50th anniversary. The classic rock opera from The Who is screening exclusively in IMAX theaters this Tuesday and Wednesday only.
It takes not a super sane person.
We're away from our families for 2 straight months. These guys aren't paid salaries. PBA only pays prize money.
They're trying to just make a living.
We got some W-2s. Too bad the money didn't equal the W-2s.
Born to Bowl looks at the handful of people trying to support themselves as professional bowlers. Most work day jobs, and when they're on the tournament circuit, they pay for their own travel and lodging. The first episode of the docuseries is now streaming on HBO Max. Brenna Whitaker channels Olivia Newton-John with her new cover of Hopelessly Devoted to You. Her music video for the Grease classic shows her with Newton-John's longtime colleague, John Farrar, who wrote and produced the original song. The video is now on YouTube. Holding on till the end in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
The legendary PEI potato will be headed to Mexican markets and eventually Mexican dinner plates. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency announced a deal with its Mexican counterpart to export fresh Canadian potatoes, and for PEI growers, it's a much-needed boost. CTV's Mariah Saru reports.
In PEI, there's a frontrunner for the kind of spuds most likely to be sent south, russets.
For the most part, we would be trying to provide the Mexican people with something that they don't have on offer down there, not in direct competition with, the varieties that they grow.
Canada's potato industry relies heavily on one key buyer. The U.S. is by far the most important market, taking 93% of the country's fresh exports by dollar value in 2024 to 2025. So, with some uncertainty about the future of CUSMA and North American trade, the industry says diversification helps.
It's always good to have new markets that are tariff-free, or where you can have a bilateral agreement between the countries, are especially advantageous.
Canada already ships frozen potatoes to Mexico, but the new agreement announced last week by Canadian and Mexican food safety officials allows shipments of fresh Canadian potatoes. It's a market that's been solely supplied by the U.S. in recent years. But while U.S. potatoes are trucked across Mexico's northern border, maritime shipments will likely arrive by boat to southern ports, says Ray Keenan, CEO of Rolla Bay Holdings, who was part of the delegation that explored this export opportunity.
We won't be going anywhere near the north of Mexico with our product. We'll be going further down.
While this agreement gives the industry permission to build a trade pipeline, planning is still in the early stages. The hope, however, is to ship potatoes going into the ground this year.
Canadian home sales dropped again last month, dragging out a slump that has hit the housing market hard. BNN Bloomberg's Marella Fernandez has more.
January sales were historically bad, and February sales were down another 1%. The Canadian Real Estate Association says home sales were down 8% last month from February of 2025. Experts say the cost of borrowing still weighing on buyers, and that the harsh winter weather was also a weight on the market. Activity did start to pick up by the end of the month. Here are the closing numbers for the day. Canadian dollar is down a fraction to 73.01. West Texas Intermediate is up to 95.94. Western Canadian Select down almost $5 to 77.25. And the TSX gained 52 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold down $3.59, closing the day at $50.0248 US an ounce. Silver down $1.69 to end the day at $79.15. Copper slipped 9 cents to $5.76. And nickel down 11 cents, ending the day at $7.74 US a pound. And Rick is back now for one last look at your Wednesday weather.
Okay, this is your wake-up weather for tomorrow. Some varying conditions. Let's check out Greater Sudbury. 2 centimeters for tomorrow in the morning, then 2 to 4 later on during the day. -6. Timmins -6. Some clouds, some precipitation late tomorrow. And Sault Ste. Marie -2, 5 centimeters during the day, and 2 more centimeters later on in the evening. North Bay -5 and cloudy. Parry Sound -1, mainly cloudy. The odd sunny break. Temiskaming Shores -6 and cloudy. So again, your morning start, and again, the conditions will change somewhat. We've got a system moving into the northeast, a little bit of snow and some flurry activity for tomorrow. Tony?
Thanks for that, Rick. On this St. Patrick's Day, if you dream of a cozy Irish pub, here's one that might fit the bill. Instead of heading out to celebrate the holiday, this bar comes to you. It's called the Wee Irish Pub. The owners, 2 brothers, built miniature Irish pubs on wheels and tow them to driveways, weddings, and backyard parties across New England. The pubs recreate the feel of a traditional Irish pub, just small enough to fit in a driveway. Before each event, the brothers personalize the space with custom posters, often designed with a family crest naming the host as the pub's proprietor for the day. What a great idea. And we leave you now with some video from the weekend storm in Sudbury and people digging out. It's courtesy of CTV's Madison Merrier. Thanks for watching. More news comes your way at 11:30 with Ian Campbell. Good night.